What quality or qualities best describe the reporter or reporters you most admire or admired?
Well, the quality that should be admired is the impartiality of the reporter. We know how sensitive it could be to work on a piece of litigation and be sensitive to both parties and not show that you're rooting or favoring one side for another. You definitely don't do anything that bridges a potential conflict or a violation of a strong code. That's just obvious. That's common sense. And of course, I think the greatest quality we have is our mentoring of other students coming in, because life is a mentoring project. So I've always stayed with a lot of very young people and a lot of very old people. My knowledge has been gleaned mostly from the older people, and my benefit is giving some of that knowledge to some of the younger people, and watching them grow and flourish is quite rewarding.
You've met a lot of reporters over the years. Have any of them stood out in terms of having unique character, personality?
Well, while in reporting school, my idols were my mother, my father, ultimately my wife, who none of them were reporters, but they were my mentors. And Nat Weiss, Bill Cohn, Irving Koski, later on my contemporaries such as yourself, Ray DeSimone, Eddie Varallo, Chuck Boyer. Those were the quality practitioners, the quality leaders, the older people, and all of those names that I mentioned, none of them want any credit. Those are the heroes that I follow.
What are your greatest fears about the future of reporting?
Vivian Spitz, just the mother of all reporters. I'm leaving out hundreds of names that I
understand.
People who are gone. The Fred Tracties, Dick Pepe was right at the very threshold of CAT. I have a video at home that I watch maybe once every 4 or 5 months of Dick Pepe with long sideburns talking about CAT, standing there, and he wasn't selling. He was talking about what looked like a new religion. It was fearful. Someone said it sounded like a tribal meeting. And Dick Pepe was part Native American. It's interesting to say that, but Roy Velker, I can hear I'm at a convention now, I can hear Roy Velker's cackles in the corridors of a convention. I can't replace that. I guess I'm trying to say old friends are best friends.
What are your greatest fears about the future of reporting?
My greatest fear is the lack of the same ingredients that some of the older reporters had. And if I keep speaking this way, I sound like an old man, and maybe I am compared to a 20-year-old reporter, but I was a 20-year-old reporter, and I didn't know, and maybe they don't know now. My fear is they're going to lack the commitment to excellence, that they're going to be here for money, because without money they can't really operate. I don't think we should be chasing the dollar bill. I think we should be chasing the quality and the work that we do.
Can you describe the life of a reporter 10 years from now?
No. The life of a reporter 10 years from now will be totally changed. There will be other modes of reporting, or recordation, and they will be accepted. Unfortunately, America has been getting used to mediocrity versus accuracy.
Most people will probably know you or remember you from your participation on the national level, serving on the board and going through the chairs and eventually becoming president. Can you give us a little snapshot of why you decided to become involved, how did you become involved, and then finally why you think it may be important to become involved working with a reporting association?
Well, if I were a psychologist, I'd dig back into my family and find that my mother, my grandmother, my grandfather were all association members of their own, in their own community. So association life has never been strange to me. I thought, pardon the expression, I could make a difference. I think I did. I also believe that I recognized those who came before me were better than I was at what I was about to enter. truth be said, you and I sat on the same board together, and we both finished our board terms together, and it's coincidental that you're interviewing me today because I realized that you were more creative and better at what you were doing and about to do to become the next leader of our association than I was. So when you were being elevated, I stepped back and didn't think I should be challenging that elevation because you were really the right person for the job before me. It took 3 years for me to debate my own thoughts and come up with the conclusion that then I was ready, and it was perfectly okay to wait. We were still young men at the time, you and I stepped up and became a president, no greater or worse than any other president. Everyone has their own theme, and my theme, by coincidence, was the QIP, which was Quality and Progress, and I wish it lasted longer than it did. There was a commitment to 3 or 4 years by our great association, but I think quality is not a project. Quality is an experience. It's a lifetime commitment, and not only in court reporting, but it pertains to our everyday life. I have a great commitment to excellence when I eat. I spend a lot of time eating, as you might say, but and good wine, of course. But if we can take that same time that we spend eating and devote the same amount of time to other endeavors that we do, whether you're a billiard player or a court reporter or an actor or a thespian or a writer, take that same amount of time and dedication to excellence and apply it somewhere else, and you have a function. Silicon Valley has a function, albeit the dot-com craze is over.
It's strange that you didn't mention ping pong and being an absolute superb ping pong player as far as quality.
Well, it's a little embarrassing because there was never a ping pong tournament or a table tennis tournament at NCRA until I became active on the board. So I did use my influence to get that injected, and of course since my departure from the board, the table tennis tournament has come to leave the exit door. Well, shalom to table tennis, but there's definitely a great feeling in playing table tennis. It's non-aggressive, non-contact, and may the best person win, just like in a shorthand competition.
I just had to get that in. If I were a relatively new reporter, what would you tell me about working on reporting association committees or becoming involved at all?
Well, get involved. Get involved. You know, when you're a president and you make your committee appointments, when you owe someone a favor, you usually put them on the membership committee. They get on the telephone, they call reporters, become a member, and you know, it's not a bad job. But people who want to get on committees, they want to be the leader. They want to chair a committee on new technology and new innovations and use your mind. Well, when you're a young reporter, your mind is not that cultivated at the time. So you might want to get involved and just send a letter to the incoming president and say, I'd like to help out. If I can, please help. Please use my name. And if not, that's perfectly okay too, because with 32,000 members, they all can't be on the same committee.
You had mentioned some people who you had the pleasure of serving with, recognizing those people as a peer group. How do you think that they will want to be remembered?
Hopefully the same way I'd like to be remembered. I love the work that I do. I'm lucky, fortunate to have met some wonderful people, fortunate to have the ability to divorce myself from some of the negatives I see in people and take the positives out and use them for me, and that's how I make my friends. And some of the people, some of the misgivings, one of the most creative reporters was Ray DeSimone, who you and I both sat under when he was president. Here's a wonderful guy, has an illness at the present time, trying to live with it, and who developed the pro bono program, which is probably as revolutionary for court reporting as the ADA is for America, civil rights. And they removed his name because he had a concept of business operation which someone didn't like, and they brought it to a national fore. They removed his name, and we don't do that. When you grow up in Brooklyn and you come out of a pool room, you look at somebody in the eye and you know that's when someone's just moving their mouth, when someone's really speaking. Ray spoke.